All right, we are here. Welcome, everyone. You found your way to the Sacred Wisdom Circle. Here we remember what the world has asked us to forget, that you are not lost, you are not broken, you are the light. So I'm so happy to be here with you guys after my excursions and traveling. It's nice to be back here with all of you.
But tell us about the teepee. I'm
Yes.
so excited.
Well, first we're
What?
missing Alana, but
No.
hopefully she'll be back with us next time. She's been traveling, so it's us. But yes, the teepee went up on Friday. It was absolutely beautiful. We had a beautiful community there to help us. An elder was there to guide the teachings and bless the teepee. He was singing and drumming and of course, there was lots of, smudging and ceremonial tobacco. It was perfect. It was absolutely perfect. And
Sounds wonderful.
we
No,
had our
it has
first
to go on my
gathering.
bucket list.
Oh,
Janet,
sorry.
it has to go on my bucket list to come to your teepee.
Oh, that would be so fabulous. We actually had our first gathering this week for the full moon. I first of all, I slept in it that night because that came to me in a dream. The grandmother came and, basically, basically what happened in my dream was I was there with the grandmother. This was prior to, knowing, do we put it up? How do we do this? And she welcomed me into her community. They were having a ceremony, and she anointed me with some oil, which was very cool. And it was just kind of lots of people around and lots of food and celebration. And I slept in a teepee and I couldn't quite get it up properly. In my dream, I couldn't get it up. So it was kind of dilapidated, but there was enough room for me to crawl in and be there. And in the morning, she came in and sat with me and we talked. And so that was an indication to me that, first of all, get the teepee up. It doesn't matter how it goes up, really. We were just lucky enough that when I made that decision that, yes, we're putting the teepee up, and regardless of protocol, we're getting this teepee up because they said get it up. And then the fact that she came in the morning, and then an elder had said to me, um, not in my dream, in real life, yes, to sleep in your teepee is what you need to do. It's kind of a bonding with the spirit of the teepee. So I did that. And everybody was like, how'd it go? I'm like, well, nothing really happened. There was no profound dreams or anything, which I was hoping for, but that's okay. It was great. And I just woke up with the feeling of the spirit of the teepee was very strong, very protective and very much in divine feminine energy. And so then we had our gathering on Wednesday for the full moon. Full house. I had 15 women come, and that was our max capacity. And oh my gosh, the energy in there, the feeling of being protected in a space, of being able to let your guard down, to let the emotions. There was people that were having very strong emotions, and um, it was just beautiful, profound, and over half of them signed up for the new moon gathering coming up in 2 weeks. So we're gonna have lots going on in there, I think. Yeah.
Oh,
I know
that
it's
sounds wonderful.
definitely on my bucket list to come and see you. God knows when, but anyway, it's on the bucket list. There we go. I'm putting it into the field.
Yep. Yep. That's perfect. So I think it's gonna grow, the community growing and everything. So yeah.
It's amazing.
That is lovely.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, I have to also say that all of our beautiful artwork for people who have watched us before and are now seeing us today, all of our beautiful artwork, our beautiful logo is all the work of Janice.
Ah,
So thank you for making the space so beautiful.
oh,
Yes, thank you, Janice.
my pleasure. My pleasure. I have so much to share with you guys, but I just want you all to have space here first. So say hello.
Hi, everybody. It's Angela from Johannesburg in South Africa, and I'm so excited to be with my Canadian sisters. It's like we're sisters across the sea. And I've just had I've had two very interesting weeks. Last week was a lot of sacral chakra. Pam and I talked about it last week. A lot of sacral chakra release. But this week I've launched two, not one, two. One workshop, which I'm running face to face. It's an old one, but I've rejigged it. It's called Into Me I See, and it's about having a love affair with me. And then, you know how our conversations about AI? I have to now remember it because I always forget the first name, first part of it. I've now created an online workshop called Amplified Intuition Using AI as Aligned Intelligence. And it is just mind-blowing, actually. I'm so excited by that. And running a 3-day gifted 3 days and then a VIP 2 days. And I'm actually putting myself out there that I'm going to be doing some intuitive AI for 3 people on the first VIP day, where they can give me a problem or something that they want to work with. And we'll see what happens in terms of how it intuits. So it's been a lot of fun putting that together. It really has. And it's looking beautiful. It's absolutely looking beautiful. So that's what's been inspired from Spirit in terms of how we can actually intuit and we can utilize AI as another spiritual tool. And just to be clear, this is not deifying AI. This is utilizing our own sense, and AI is only as good as what we put into it anyway, and it's using our own sense. And the more that we are able to get it to configure around who we are, the easier it is for it to respond that way. So it's in part that. But I've had such fun putting together, and it's looking beautiful. It really is. So that's been like my 2 weeks. And then also Business Yogi's been going on as well. I've had lots of insights this week. Grounding, because I'm working with the earth root, the root and the earth root chakras. So there's been a lot going on there. And then, of course, the downloads just keep coming, keep coming. And in fact, Business Yogi's also changed. Also, as it grounded, it's now become about the business of living your purpose. Business Yogi, the business of living your purpose.
I just love hearing the flow that we are all in. And it just, I know that this whole collective and us coming together, that's creating this magic, this energy, this expansion right now. I am so excited. EA has become a good friend of mine. I have now started a circle. June 22nd is going to be the first date of it. I picked the 22 because of the number. It's on a Sunday evening, so it's not taking up a lot of time away from family. It's a great way to start the week, but it's the sacred circle of being.
Oh,
And it's going to be in the evening. I'm going to have a fire. It's going to start with a prayer. It's not about teaching so much. It's about allowing people the space to step into their wisdom
that's
and share from that place that everybody has wisdom. So I'm really excited about it. I talked to a few people. I don't know how big or small it'll be, and I'm okay with just getting. I've already got 4 dates set, so once a month. And I am starting with a question. So on this particular one, it's going to be what does it mean to be as opposed to doing? And everybody gets to share their response to that. I'm open also, like if this is just a place where people just need to share whatever it is that they need to share as well. So it's not going to be a lot of structure in ABC. It's going to kind of flow with how the divine wants it to flow. There's the beginning and the end. How everything plays out is going to be dependent on the energies of the space. And I have a beautiful property here in Pefferlaw. So I'm starting that. It's going to be advertised on Georgina Life. I'm letting people know about it. I'm just so thrilled. Now, from there, I'm closing on my condo in the Dominican in July. Take possession. This has formulated and led me to a sacred circle of being down in the Dominican, a 10-day. I don't like to use retreat, but reset, renewal, and re-meet, where you get to discover yourself in a more authentic being kind of way. I'll take people through a process to help them to heal any of the unconscious baggage that might be driving them or holding them back. Planning a Soana Island trip with that, planning a couple meals at different restaurants, but again, holding space and allowing people to be and grow, step into their authentic self. So I'm going to plan 2 trips next year with 4 people in each trip, which again, it's just starting. Let's iron out all the kinks and see how it goes. And yeah, there's other potential down there as well. I have a girlfriend who has a townhouse down there, so maybe able to utilize that space in the future, renting it out. So it's like everything is just happening. My partner just bought a Harley Davidson trike, which surprised me because we have what I call Cricket. We had a Kawasaki bike with a trike kit. And we're going down to Illinois at the end of August for a big gathering, because he's with the Masons and the Masonic riding group is getting together, and people from all over the world. So really looking forward to that. So he's thrilled, living his best life too, and so it's the ripple effect. This is not something that I saw coming. And then he wanted, my opinion. And I'm like, honey, if you're happy, that's all that matters. I've been happy on Cricket just fine. But if this is what you want and you feel better about it, then you know what, I'm all for it. So
Yeah.
It's as you're talking, Pam, it's amazing how, what are we, 2 months? We're about 2 months that we've been gathering, this 4 of us.
Yeah.
And how the energies have shifted in the last 4 months, last 2 months, for all of us as a collective. Not only individually, but also from a collective point of view.
Absolutely.
You introduced the fact that we're going to be going into different media spaces with the stuff that we're busy doing and the conversations that we're having. And this is the evidence of the divine feminine as she flows when we attune to her, as opposed to trying to kind of do all the engineering. And I remember when I first started working with the feminine energy, it was very confusing because it's so subtle. And I remember at one point I was going, I'm feeling like I'm going round and round in circles. And then the penny dropped. The energy of the feminine is circular. I mean, if you look at women and the way that they speak and their arms, and we're forever gathering and pulling into ourselves. And so, yeah, all of this is great, but we still also need to have the straight lines, which is where the masculine comes in. And the minute I saw that balance coming into play in terms of energies, that kind of feeling like I was running around chasing my tail like a puppy dog, that started to dissipate. And it was very, very, I actually even had a picture of a Dalmatian, a grown Dalmatian in a vision board chasing its tail. And that, I didn't know why I'd put it in the vision board. And later on it was, oh, that's what that's about.
Oh, that's cool.
Yes. And that this collective too, from an energetic standpoint, it's getting away from the individualistic way that we have been raised. Like everything is, we got to do it for ourselves, right? And it's that element of we're bringing in soul family. You guys are my soul family. That's honestly how I feel about this. Our biological family has been great for teaching me the lessons that I've needed to learn to get to this space. But you are my soul family, and now this collective is just going to blossom from there. And I really, truly believe that, just from what I'm seeing since we've all come together. And Elena, I wish you were here for this conversation, because she's that one that has been to bring it together in such a profound way. I have been looking for this for years, but again, divine timing. Divine timing.
Well, the other thing, sorry, Janice, it resonates, there's 4 of us, and it resonates to the energy of the cube and bringing things into the physical, the 4 legs of a table. So all of that, with it being 4 of us, is bringing an energy and grounding an energy into the world. And that's also for me really, really interesting. You can kind of sit back and go, why 4? Well, that's why 4. So yeah, that even there. Janice, sorry, I didn't mean to butt in.
No, it's okay. I was just musing about that because I love calling that collective magic when we come together. I mean, people have always come together in churches, in prayers, in circles, in Wiccan circles. Like every time we come together in circle, the energy um, becomes exponential and exponential with our intentions. So coming into circle with reverence and clear intentions, I think is very important, especially the women's circles, because we are incredibly powerful. But I also love, like when you said, Pamela, that the Masonites are gathering, like that the gatherings are happening. And it doesn't matter, you know, which gathering it is, like it's happening. People are coming into circles with intention and soul and I still have online circles. I have we monthly, we meet 3 times a month. Like my programs are that they're live and they flow with what's going on right now, right here. Not so much a curriculum, like you had said, Pamela, too, like keep it open space. And that was the call when I was doing the women's circle in the teepee too. And I have another group of 8. There's 8 of us in this women's circle, and we've been gathering for a couple months, and it's live, like together. No one in particular, like we take turns leading it, so it's not anyone's particular circle, but we call ourselves a circle of 8. And we will meet on the solstice in the teepee. But I'm like, okay, I'm leading at this time. What's the call? And really feel the call is to be very open. Just, it's a beautiful space to gather and talk. But I love, like what you said, Pamela, just present a question and let it flow from there. And that's what we're doing here, right? That's exactly what we're doing here. So then I have this circle, which is beautiful and sacred. And then I have the circles I offer out in the teepee and the circles online. And this was the vision that I was given several years ago. Gather, gather, gather in circles, and I see it like lights lighting up all over the world, which is kind of what they kind of like create my certification program. It's 9 months of us gathering together. And then the intention is that each and every person goes out and creates their circles and teaches. And the 9 month is just so that they get to walk in, they get to take the journey into their soul and start to hear those messages and channel those messages. And then now each and every one goes out and creates a circle. And this is how we're healing the world. Like
And
that's
that's so beautiful. I can imagine the grid lines that you've seen on a screen where it's the light here, it's connected to the light here, connected to the
yes.
light here. That is literally what I think. And I just love that.
Yeah,
And
and
not,
like little lamps lighting up on the earth, and as the light radiates out from the lamps, they start to meet and
yeah,
touch.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's quite
And
interesting. Sorry, Pamela, carry on, and then I'll tell you what happened this week as well.
and also it's not just about teaching. It's about being that light first, and like being that light. So I'm involved in another group where it's a lot of younger women right now who are going through the fires, right? I've been added to this group. And it was really funny because I'm listening or watching, because it's in text, them speaking to their fires and the changes and stuff. And I'm not saying that we don't have our fires, because of course we do. But I said, my fires aren't raging anymore. They're embers.
Yes.
And I think
I
that's
love that.
because we've walked through those fires. So we're now holding the space and allowing the embers to glow so
Yep.
that we can support other younger women, gentlemen, younger generation walk through those fires and know that they can get through it. And the beauty on the other side is those glowing embers, right? So they
Yeah.
then will be able to hold space. And that's what I'm seeing happen as well. And then I was out at Soul Path, and what I love is we're honoring the pioneers that have been on this journey for a long time. We are those pioneers, but there are so many more of us that we don't know.
Yep.
We're honoring those pioneers by doing what we're doing right now too. And so it's just I get emotional every time I think about it and talk about it. But I had a conversation with a woman at this event. There was a young woman sharing with all of us, and the young women, like, it was almost like they were preaching to the choir. We've already been there, seen it, done it, understand it. Now, it was a platform for this lovely young woman to record so that she's now planting seeds elsewhere. But I felt like, okay, so the pioneers are kind of being ignored or pushed aside. That was in that moment what I was feeling. But I turned that around and went, wait a minute, okay, so how am I ignoring myself? How am I dismissing myself? How am I not showing up for myself? And I really had to think about that, because when we are judging a certain situation, and I don't mean harshly, but just looking at it and going, wait a minute. And that question about the pioneers being pushed aside, I looked at it and went, wait a minute, like, okay, then I need to look at something within myself to go, okay, how am I not showing up? And what I realized is that I am showing up. Just by what we are doing here, we are all showing up. And we are pioneering and have been pioneering the way for paving the path for a long time.
Yeah.
Now we get to share in a completely different way. We get to hold space in a completely different way. And for any of you that are watching, this is the space to ask your questions. If you're unsure about something, if you don't really know, don't struggle on your own. That's why we're here. You don't have to do it alone anymore. We may have had to do it alone to get to where we are because we didn't understand what our journey was going to entail or where we were meant to be. I think all of us are understanding now where we're meant to be in a big way here in this space. But now it's those of you who have the questions, come to us. You don't have to have all the answers alone anymore.
So what's really, really interesting about the energy about the pioneers is if we put it into the context of the zodiac, it's the Aryan energy. It's Aries. Aries is the pioneer. And then as we move into from Aries into Taurus, it's about stewarding. And then when we move into Gemini, it's about the communicator. And Cancer's the nurturer. So I'm only going to go that far because, oh, yeah, remember, Leo is leadership. And of course, Virgo is the healer. And so it goes, each zodiac actually has one of those energies. And we're in very much a pioneering energy at the moment, very much so. What I wanted to share with you too, though, Janice, the TP is very significant for me as well. When the vision was given to me in 2002, and it was a portal of learning for the new age, and it has different elements to it, and it looks like a clock, so it's 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock, 4 o'clock, 6, and so it goes round, and then in the middle. And a little while later, a couple of months later, I was meditating and I found myself in the diagram that had been created that day. And I'm sitting in the middle of it and I'm going, what on earth's going on? Where am I? And I could see the kind of the hearts on the sides. And as I looked up, I could see the top of the teepee and the teepee smoke going through the top of the teepee. So that the whole energy of the teepee has a lot of significance for me.
Wow.
And yeah, so that's why I'm saying it's on my list to come and see.
Maybe you need your own TV there too for gatherings. Perhaps this is gives us it gives us a structure to gather in. And it attracts people.
It's absolutely, I mean, just the energy, I can feel it now, without even being in it, I can actually feel it. It's amazing. And so it's, again, we talk about the First People's teachings, the grandmother, the Moon Lodge. And I'm so happy that you're doing ceremonies with the moon in the Moon Lodge. Typically, that was where the divine feminine was, traditions and customs were handed from the grandmothers to the mothers and the maidens.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, so spot on in terms of what you're doing with you. So I'm kind of circled back to the teepee because it's so exciting.
That's cool.
So,
Yeah, oh, sorry.
I was just saying, going to link back to what Pamela was saying, and that is, it's about, there's a quickening. There's definitely a quickening in terms of the energy starting to really gather momentum. And it is about the coming together of those that have been pioneering for a very long time. I mean, my vision was first given to me in 2002. And here we are 23 years later, and it's going through, it's again another iteration into what it's going to be looking like as it goes out, because everything evolves and changes. But it's just really, for me, it's really just being in that space of, it's almost sometimes, yes, we are the river and we're in flow, but sometimes it's also sitting on the riverbank and watching how the river's flowing past us, and being the observer as opposed to being in the river. Sometimes those times are also important to just, and in the kind of gatherings that we're talking about, very often, as Pamela, as you're saying, we don't teach, but part of our role is to observe and being that observer in terms of what's happening around us and what's happening with people, in the circles that they gather in.
Yeah.
And so, and also the other point that you made that was so significant was also observing ourselves. It's not just about what we are doing to facilitate for other people. It's coming from what we're doing within our own selves that we can then hold space and pass it on for others. So
Yeah,
yeah,
witnessing yourself.
yeah, absolute. So important. Sorry, Janice, over to you.
No, no, it's okay. I am curious because we're in such different parts of the world. Um, what common threads are coming through for all of us, either through the people that we are gathering with or through your own channeling? Because I have found you talked about it, Pam, about being present here, the presence, just being present. That theme has come through incredibly strongly for me in the last month. And especially, I went down to Salt Lake City and did my speaking there, and it was fantastic. And it just it expanded me into another level uh energetically within me. I up leveled into somebody that I've been wanting to up level into. But what happened too was some huge downloads coming through. Really, like the information that we already know, but really, really anchoring into my body. And that of what matters is this moment right now and where your frequency is at and what you are resonating with or being aware of the resistance to that energy. So it could either be something that you are trying to call in, because we're in my groups, it's all about, mastering the skill of manifesting too. So what are you trying to call in? Where's your frequency at right now, right here? And that super awareness, like, okay, if it's not arriving, there's some sort of resistance or off frequency, and what is it? And so also not just for that, but just in how you're feeling. Like,
Yeah,
how are you feeling right now? What is it? Are you lit up? Are you feeling alive? Like feeling alive? Because there's so many of us that are stuck in that mundane part or stuck in that feeling of, well, this is the way it has to be. This is the role I chose, so this is the way it needs to be. And how do we pull ourselves out of that and rise up into that, beautiful gift that of every day we're alive, and this is your life,
And
no one else's, right? Yeah.
and that's where the magic is. Like, and
Oh,
with the work that I've been doing, being able to see people transform themselves, and how I describe it is breaking the old constructs, the family constructs, the beliefs, the judgments, the criticisms,
mm,
right? And stepping into and honoring themselves. And that magic, what they're doing, and I encourage people to realize that when we do the healing work for ourselves, first and foremost, based on tradition and native teachings, 7 generations behind and 7 generations in front, that's powerful. And that's
yep,
staying present to ourselves, right? So you're absolutely right, Janice. It's that element of being. And I would have to agree. I mean, I have been thinking about this circle, and the element of being, and how does that look when you're not teaching? Because everything that you see is about people being, and I don't mean any disrespect, but being the guru, right? And it's like, I'm a human, but please do not call me a guru. I'm a human being like everybody else going through my own things. I want this authenticity for myself and integrity for myself. But how can we show up and hold the space so that everybody can be,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
Because too many people start to look outside of themselves for the responses, for where they need to go, what they have to do. And it's like, you know what? You've got the answers. I would like to hold space. I can share from my experience, absolutely. But my experience isn't going to be the same as your experience, but you may understand the parallels, right? So and for me years ago, sitting in a group when I was living in an abusive situation, I wrote down everything and took it to the doctor with me. And my husband was at the time, very, very abusive. He left a burn hole in furniture. He was like very intimidating. So I took it to the doctor. My doctor, I think she was shocked. But she said, look, I want you to go to this group. It's a group on domestic violence. I want you to go for 6 sessions. She goes, and I just go for the 6 and then make your decision. Well, when I first went, it was a circle. I was blown away. I didn't say a word, but what I learned through the other women in that space just blew me away, but it helped me to understand myself. So I've always seen a huge value in learning from one another, not just having a teacher who's got the authority in front of the room. And so that's going back, good God, 1992. So it's an element of had that value and understanding. I've been a counselor long before I became a counselor, but it's that element of now it's taking it beyond just the counseling. It's taking it into the holding space so other people can hear their own wisdom, because we are so often shut down that we don't even hear our own wisdom. And this is an opportunity for them to be heard, to be seen, right? And to hear themselves first and foremost. I think that is huge. So
Powerful.
So Janice, kind of linking to what she's talking about, being curious around other parts of the world. It's coming through very strongly for me, and coming through very, very strongly through the business yogi as it's developing and as it's expanding. And where it's gotten to is presence is the silent frequency of wholeness made visible. I just love that description.
Say that again. Say that again. The silence
Presence is the silent frequency of wholeness made visible.
Mm.
It is so, and it just kind of goes, oh, I can actually, when I read it, when I see it, I can just feel it going straight through my body. What was also interesting that I did this week was I got hold of my astrocartography, which you can, if you know your birth date, time, and place of birth, you can create. We can put the link in the show notes where you can actually get your astrocartography chart actually done, and it shows you the planets, places on the planet where you are resonating. And what came out of that was Pacific Northwest going all the way up, and South Africa, and the link between the two. And that the work, whatever the work ends up looking like, will be there and here. So hopefully I'm going to be doing lots of traveling, and I will actually get to your DB.
Pacific Northwest is perfect.
And so it was really, really interesting to see that overlay. And again, this is information that helps us to be present because it shows us where we are meant to be serving. And so I found it very, very interesting. So we'll put the link for you in the show notes of how you can actually find out what your astrocartographic map is. I think that's how you would say it. And then what I did was also quite interesting was, as you know, I'm going to Pasadena, not Pasadena, I'm going to, I had a connection with another incredible spiritual being during the week, and she lives in Pasadena. So after my trip to San Francisco for the conference, we're going to be going down to meet a whole lot of people, because I attend a meeting every week with people from Pasadena. Pasadena means the rose. There were 5 elements that came through, which links to the rose of Venus. All of this, and then I checked out on the latitude and longitude of Pasadena on the astrocartographic map. It just blew my mind in terms of the significance of going to Pasadena with all the work that we are actually doing. So yeah,
Wow.
it was so interesting. So yeah, if we want to know whether we're on track in terms of where we are being,
That's
going,
so
doing,
cool.
relocating, incredible, absolutely incredible.
I'll have to take a look because actually I'm going back to Mount Shasta in 3 weeks, Northern California, which is a very spiritual space, and was there last year, and so many things shifted for me. And the like huge message of you need to have a circle here. So that's happening here in the beginning of July. I have one spot left if anybody wants to come. But we're just I'm like, oh, I wonder how that is because it was just an incredible shifting experiencing another up level for me last July of, you know what? Hey, this is I was accepting things in my life, and then all of a sudden I realized, no, I get to raise the bar. I get to raise the bar. And that's funny too, because that same thing happened to me in Salt Lake. It was like, no, move up to the next level. So traveling is so enlightening.
Absolutely, it is. I mean, I never thought in a million years that I'd be only owning a condo in another part of the world,
Right?
right?
Yes.
But the funny thing is, Angela, Caribbean Rose is actually the name of the complex that I'm moving into.
Oh,
So again, it's
Ah,
like I know goosebumps, truth bumps. It's like so it's that element of alignment, and it's gone easy. It was not a difficult process. Which again, people out there, we don't have to work hard, work smart, and when you're aligned, things come with ease. Like that's what we are here to show you, to share with you. We're not
yes.
different than you. I want people to know that we're no different. We're human beings that have had walked through fires, who had our traumas, but it's an element of when we get aligned with our authentic self and connected to source and trust and have faith in that source, whatever it is that you believe in, because we all believe in something. And people who say, oh, I don't believe in anything, when your push comes to shove, you're reaching out to something,
That's
right? It
right.
may not be until those moments, but it's there. And we all
yes.
have that infinite connection.
And even
Oh,
when they say they're not believing in anything, they're still believing in it. They're believing in anything. So yeah,
yeah. Well, and that's so that trust in the universe, like the trust that it's going to work out and vision, like casting a vision forward of seeing yourself going, oh, it's okay, everything worked out. I'm so staying in that space as I'm creating and like organizing retreats. And we have another retreat at the 1st of September. That one is really fun. And you have to tell us more about yours, Pamela. This one in September is I'm actually just teaching at it, but it's a young woman who works with horses and people. So the horse reflects to you where you're at. And so I'm going to be doing some creative painting, intuitive painting there with them while they also groups work with her and the horses. So if you love horses, that one is it's in the Rocky Mountains here in Canada. Yeah, horses and mountains, like can it get any better? Like that, like and there's a part of me that is like, ooh, okay, gotta create space for that, financials around this, like everything, right? But I'm just leaning in. Everything is okay. Let's just keep going because especially around the financial abundance for people that comes up, oh, I can't do that. I don't have enough money for that. It's like, can we lean into the magic? Can we
Oh,
just trust? And even this past week, just like, oh, that bank account is getting a little low. Um, okay, I'm not going there. I'm not going into panic. I'm just going to keep going. And sure enough, something came through and covered it all. And I was not expecting it quite out of left field. That's the magic
I,
that we
I'm
can lean
smiling.
into,
I'm
right?
smiling at you so much because every time you move a little bit, there's like a full moon behind your head.
Do you know what that is? I have a drum hanging back there. That's my
Oh,
drum.
that's awesome.
So yeah.
But it's like a
So
full, it's like a
it
full moon.
might be distracting. I might have to put it on a different spot, but
I
we're in
just
the
looked
full moon energy here. There it is.
I was just kidding.
No, that sounds really magical, Janice.
Oh,
Like again, the leaning into the magic. Um,
yeah.
I love that phrase. One of the analogies that I've been using with people, and it's you're gonna laugh even further with all this, but grab a bouquet of roses, lean
Yeah.
into the thorns. What happens to the thorns? They
Yeah.
will snap. So it's uncomfortable, but only for a short period of time. And then you're left with the beauty of the rose. So for people, lean into whatever is uncomfortable, allow that to snap so that you can blossom like that rose. Like it
Oh,
is, that's literally what we have to do. If we step into what's familiar, which is what we often do, we're back and forth. We go into a default, especially early on in our journey. We go to the default of what's familiar,
mm-hmm.
right? It may feel comfortable, but not from a warm, fuzzy way. It
Right.
comes from that familiar way. So we're not, emphatically, you're not growing if you're stepping into that. Where if you're leaning into that uncomfortable, you're growing. No,
Yeah.
emphatically, that means you're growing.
Yeah, the excited nervousness,
Mm,
not the oh my God, this does not feel right, but the like butterflies, excited, giddy, like getting I was talking about getting on that roller coaster, right?
Yeah.
Like, oh,
Yes. It's so
yes,
interesting.
I'm voluntarily stepping onto the roller coaster, but I'm still nervous.
So interesting
So,
that you're talking about these energies and also going back to something that was said earlier on as well around family, because I've got the juxtaposition of two of them going on at the same time. The excitement around all the work and what's actually manifesting through that. And then I've got the family stuff that keeps wanting to pull me back into that energy. And I'm going, no, I'm not doing this anymore. I'm just not doing it
right.
anymore. And people around me are not liking it very much at all.
yeah.
Yeah, there's still some stuff that I'm needing to take responsibility for and clear, and that's okay. But I'm not, I mean, I had a big thing with a person in my family, and a conversation with my son today, and I just said to him, I'm not going back into that energy again. I'm not going, my choice is not to go into that kind of toxicity anymore.
And
Um,
Angela, I commend you for that because
Yeah.
it's true. Just because we can talk to how wonderful life can be doesn't mean that we're not up with those obstacles or those challenges. My son is dealing with addictions. He's 36 years old. I love him to infinity and beyond, but it's making that choice that I'm not going back into the old behaviors or back into the old toxic energy. So I commend you for that. And it's being able also, we can share with people that truth,
Yeah.
right? We're in
and it
this human experience with all of these challenges and obstacles because that's what helps us to grow and go, wait a minute, I have a choice and I don't want to feed that energy anymore.
Right.
was tough.
And it's very much, especially with addictions, and that it's very much an ancestral pattern,
It
and
is. It absolutely is.
you get to cut that. You get to end it for the 7 generations to come.
And it was,
Absolutely.
yeah, making that stand today with him was it was tough. I could feel my heart chakra going like a wisher wisher wash. And I'm going, no, no. I mean, I'm not going to go into all the details of what actually happened. And I just said to him today, he said, oh, you said you would. I said, I'm telling you now, I'm not going to,
Yeah,
because I am choosing not to go into that kind of toxicity again.
good for
Uh,
you.
and it's got nothing to do with whether I can or whether I can't. That's got nothing to do with it. My choice is to honor the fact that we're evolving. What are you leveling up, Janice? I think you use that phrase.
Yes.
It's beautiful. We're leveling up, and in my leveling up space, that energy doesn't fit for me anymore, and I'm not doing it. So if you want to go and sort it out with your aunt, that's fine, but I'm not doing it anymore.
I have to
Um,
share one thing before we end,
yeah.
Angela, because you just nailed it there. Um, when you do connect with a higher resonance and you get excited and you feel that and you're like, that's where I want to be, that's where I want to go. And then perhaps, you're inspired, things come through, you create something, you're on a high, and then you drop back down, right? You're like, okay, that's done. That was great. There's reasons why we drop back down to a lower frequency, but it's recognizing that, oh, it's not over. It's not like I'm in this black hole of creativity. It's like, oh, I tapped that frequency. Now I know where I'm going. So now I get this one doesn't fit with me anymore. That's the old me, the old resonance. Now I get to move forward. And you just said that. I'm not doing this anymore. This is not where I want to be anymore. I am creating myself into that new frequency. And I love that. And my heart goes out to you because we all deal with the family relationships and we love them dearly, um, and we can still love them and not sink into that
It's so funny
story.
the reaction for me when I was going through this with them earlier on, and I could feel this anxiety. And I'm going, I feel like I've gone to the principal's office again.
Yeah,
Um, Obviously, my
right.
son and I have a past life connection where he was a father or a something, because it's kind of like I'm feeling like I'm this little naughty girl that's been sent to the principal's office.
Oh, wow.
So, but
Oh,
And yeah, and Pamela, you're like my son went through addiction and spent some time in jail, and he
totally
is
understand.
now 40, turning 41 this year. He just had his second baby this week in a beautiful, he's risen above, you know. Um, so stay in that, see, visioning the light in your son. And I wrote
Yes.
about that. That was the story in the book that just got published, was my journey through that as a mom. We hold so much energy around that. So, um,
it also
oh,
buried the lead about the fact that you've got a new grandbaby. Just bury that lead. I mean, hello.
yeah, as a little boy, he did Gemini.
Uh,
Little sweetheart. So, yes, I just got my first cuddles yesterday, but um,
Um,
so lovely. If that doesn't raise your frequency, right?
oh, yes.
Congratulations on your new baby.
Thank you. Family's growing. Thank you. Yeah. So I just feel for both of you because we've been there. We're walking through it.
Yep.
Like you said, it's even though we are consciously creating this life that we're living in, it doesn't mean we're immune to the roller coaster of life. Like this is, but we get stronger. And like you said, Pamela, in the beginning, it doesn't put us into the fire. It's an ember, and we
Yeah.
can walk through it. And it's
Yep.
like, okay, I've been here. I know this, and there's
And
wisdom.
if we really want to talk
Absolutely.
if we really want to talk about what authenticity is, it's exactly this. It's
Yes,
not about the fact that we've had this out of body spiritual experience and now we walk on water. It's got nothing to do with that. It's got to do with the fact that life is still freaking messy. But it's
Yep.
the vibration and the energy that we choose to respond to life with that makes the difference.
And there is beauty in the messiness.
there is.
Always,
There's a
always.
golden thread through
Well,
everything.
thank you, thank you, thank you, ladies. This was a wonderful conversation. And to all of
Yeah,
our listeners and our watchers, please leave your comments, anything that you'd like us to talk about, you'd like us to share,
absolutely.
just add in
Absolutely.
the comments.
Yep.
Subscribe, like, pass it on, share.
Yeah, share what's on your soul, and always remember that you are the light, you are the way, and the circle will be here when you need it. Mhm. Beautiful.
Blessings to all. Thank,
Mm,
thank
thank
you,
you,
everybody.
guys.
See you next time.
See you next time.